Hi guys, I cannot count the number of times that you people told me to review this little unit because I am not very good at counting. But you were right, okay? I admit it, you were all correct. Overall, this thing is the best mini flash that money can buy for under $75 in my not so humble opinion. You have multi-modes, you have manual mode, you have TTL, so through the lens, automatic modes. It also does high-speed sync. I have never seen that in a flash this big. High-speed sync that can also do Sony's global shutter, and that really blew me away. You can do a drop-down diffuser here in the front. You can use it with a trigger, so you can have off-camera flash with a remote trigger, or you can use this thing to trigger another flash. The possibilities are pretty much endless with this guy for a very good price, so we need to talk about it. First, I want to thank the sponsor of this video intro. They did provide the Godox IT30 Pro. So if you are thinking about picking this up, please use the link down below, which supports their store, which supports me, and I do appreciate it. Flash photography is currently undergoing a gigantic resurgence as people look for more creative options with their cameras, as well as just being in dim or low light environments really helps separate your photos from smartphone photos. And a lot of the newer mirrorless cameras don't come with a pop-up flash at all, so you don't really have an option for a flash on a lot of the newer cameras. So people are getting these mini type flashes for a little extra versatility and creativity. Stick it in your camera bag, pull it out when you need it. Look at this one. This is the IM20 from Godox. Look at how small this one is right here. But this guy is the holy grail of the mini flashes, the IT30 Pro. What a mini flash this is. It has a guide number of about 15, so that is plenty of power when you need it. And the fact that you can do pretty much everything that a bigger flash can do, then this is a no-brainer for your camera bag as long as you got 75 shillings to spare. You can use up to 1/8000 shutter speed with most of the camera brands, and with Sony, you can go as high as 1/80,000 with that global shutter. And this flash is available for almost every major camera system out there, but the Ricoh users, you guys are not in luck right now. You have a beautiful and responsive touchscreen. You can scroll through all of the items, or you can use the wheel up on top. Here you can see the TTL, the manual mode, or the multi-mode. Here's your wireless function where you can set the channel and the ID for your remote trigger or your other flashes. And here is the tab for the high sync speed that will lower your overall power but will enable you to use much higher shutter speeds. There are basically only 3 drawbacks if you ask me to the IT30 Pro from Godox. The first 2 Godox has already addressed. So it sits low to your camera, obviously. Now, a lens like this, the 56 1.7 from Viltrox, you're not going to get any lens shadow in your photos. But if you have a very big lens on a small camera, like this 35mm f1.2 from Viltrox, this Lab Series lens with its big old lens hood, then you are going to get some lens shadow in certain photos. And because the flash is in a fixed position, you can only blast the light straight out in front. You can't do any kind of bounce flash. Well, Godox has introduced this riser right here, and it is not just any old riser. It is compatible with each of the different camera systems units, so you can still do your TTL, your automatic modes, and your high-speed sync as well. And it has a trick up its sleeve. Let's just put it on my Fuji camera right here. And as you can see now, it is much higher, so you're not going to get lens shadow, even with a big old lens on your camera. But more importantly, in my opinion, you can do this. It goes all the way up to 90 degrees, so now you can bounce your flash off the ceiling and create a softer light on your subject when you want it. Now, of course, this is an extra accessory that will cost you more money and does make the unit much larger in terms of its size, but it is still so much smaller than even my smallest regular on-camera flash. So you can just take these 2 little things around, take out the riser when you need it. If you don't need the riser, it's even smaller, and as you can see, it is much, much less bulky than even this TT350 Pro that I bought because it was the smallest flash I could find at the time. As I mentioned in the beginning, you can use a remote trigger to have off-camera flash with this guy right here. This is my old X2T. It still works with this flash, or they have the new X3, which is even more small and sleek, and I should pick one of those up soon. But this works just fine as long as you set the same ID and channel to the same ID channel here, and then you switch this into receiver mode. This icon right here means it's on camera flash. This is the transmitter mode, and this is the receiver mode. So for photosensitive people, I'm gonna fire this flash right now. We'll see if the camera picks it up, but now I have off-camera flash with my trigger, so I can pair this with my other godox flashes. And now just to show you can use this as a transmitter as well, I set the IT30 Pro to the same channel and ID as the TT350. Again, photosensitive people, I am gonna fire off the flash. This flash will fire and this flash will fire. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but here we go. Now both flashes did in fact fire, so that's great that you can use this as a master unit. At full power, you have a fast recycle time of 1.5 seconds. Of course, if you're using less power, the flash will fire off even quicker, so that is impressive, as is the battery life. You can get 560 flashes at full power, and again, many more flashes if you are using less than full power. It charges by USB-C, and then the battery will just stay charged for months and months, so you don't have to constantly replace your batteries. Now, for those people who really want replaceable batteries, I do understand that, but if you are in a pinch, you can use the USB-C port to power this as well if for some reason your battery has completely drained. Personally, I prefer this rechargeable battery because I find that my flashes that take regular AA batteries, if I leave them in my camera bag long enough, the batteries will just drain and it will be dead when I go to pick it up. And if I don't have spare batteries, I am out of luck. This thing here, to me, suits my shooting style better. The godox has a neat little trick with this lever right here. You push that up and you get a little diffusion. Let me see if I can show you. See, no diffusion on right now. Push it up, there is a little diffusion panel. Isn't that cool? Take it down, put it back up, so you will get slightly softer light when you are using that panel. I mentioned a third drawback, and while personally it is not something that will affect me, I will tell you about it in case you are one of the people it would affect, and that is when it comes to the touchscreen itself. It is, of course, as I say, a very nice and responsive touchscreen. The problem with that is that sometimes if you are carrying your camera, let's say on a strap, and the screen is rubbing against an article of clothing, that can change your settings. Now, godox has put in a lock on the flash right here, so if you hold down the lock button for a few seconds, then it will lock the flash. And now you see the flash is locked, and that's great, so if you want to unlock it, you have to hold down the set button for a couple of seconds, and now it is unlocked again. So that potentially can hamper your speed a little bit if you find that you always have to lock the flash itself, or you'll change the settings and then you have to unlock it by pressing the set button. It can get rid of some of that nice flow state that you could be in. Personally, like I said, that doesn't bother me because the way I carry my camera, the flash never touches my clothing or my hands when I am carrying it around, but it is something you should be aware of. Now, some of you may be wondering about the differences between the IT30 and the Viltrox Spark Z3 that recently came out, and I do think these are quite different flashes in their own way. The Viltrox, first of all, is built for style. Look at this, it's just beautiful. The godox is definitely more built for utility, in my opinion. It has the touch screen, whereas the Viltrox, it has these analog dials. So if you're worried about touching the touch screen and changing your settings, the Viltrox would be the way to go. This is also cheaper and, in my opinion, much more handsome. Really dresses up the camera with that steampunk vibe. But while the Viltrox does have TTL, it does not have high-speed sync, and that is a really big deal when you're trying to use higher shutter speeds. You also can't use the Viltrox as a transmitter to automatically fire off another flash unit, and you can't use it as on-camera flash using a remote trigger or a remote trigger cable. You can do all of that with the godox. But if you don't need those extra features, these two flashes are about the same level of power, and then you can get this nice, stylish flash for less money. But overall, value-wise, I have to give it to the godox here. But let me know what you think down below. Does the godox IT30 Pro float your boat? If not, what does float your boat flash-wise? We can have a nice little discussion about it. Thanks for watching this. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.